Imagine your life arrived in a large cardboard box. Inside, you find a body, several urgent appetites, a confusing number of emotions, and one tiny metal screw that probably matters. There is no instruction sheet, so you do what anyone would do. You stare into the box and ask, "What is this for?" That is the question of the meaning of life, and the first useful answer is slightly annoying. It may not be one question. It might mean, why does life exist? It might mean, was humanity created for a purpose? Or, what makes my particular life worth living? Or simply, what should I do with Tuesday? Those questions are related, but they are not identical. A person can understand why a chair was manufactured and still have no idea where to put it. Likewise, knowing how human beings evolved would explain a great deal about where we came from, without necessarily telling us what we ought to live for. This is not merely a hobby for people awake at 2 in the morning. A 2026 Gallup study found that 45% of Gen Z respondents reported lacking meaning, purpose, or both. The old question now also arrives in modern packaging. If artificial intelligence can perform more of our work, was work ever the point? If everyone online appears to have discovered their purpose at 23, why are they still posting 17 times before lunch? Let us begin with the largest possible instruction manual. One answer is that life has a cosmic purpose. We are here because God, a divine order, or the universe itself intends something for us. On this view, life is not an accidental collection of parts. It was designed. Its meaning is discovered rather than invented. This answer has obvious power. If a creator made human beings for a purpose, then our lives fit into a larger story. Suffering might have a place within that story. Moral duties might reflect something deeper than local opinion. Death might not be the point where the furniture simply falls apart. But cosmic purpose raises questions of its own. First, what is the purpose? Different religious and philosophical traditions give different answers. To know that there is an instruction manual is not yet to know which instruction manual, especially when several are being held up by people speaking with impressive confidence. Second, does being assigned a purpose automatically make that purpose meaningful? A factory might create a machine for tightening bottle caps. The machine has a clear purpose. It may still feel that its talents are being overlooked. A divine purpose would need to be not only assigned, but good, and we would need some reason to recognize it as good. Otherwise, purpose becomes obedience with better lighting. If careful thinking attached to drawings with questionable structural integrity sounds useful, subscribe. Now suppose there is no cosmic instruction sheet. This leads to a second family of answers, commonly associated with existentialism. Jean-Paul Sartre argued that human beings first exist and then define themselves through their choices. A manufactured object is designed before it is made. A knife has a planned function. A person, Sartre thought, does not arrive with that kind of built-in essence. This sounds liberating. No one has already decided what you must become. You choose your commitments, values, and projects. Meaning is something you make. Unfortunately, freedom includes paperwork. If there is no pre-written role, you cannot simply discover your purpose under a cushion. You are responsible for choosing. Refusing to choose is also a choice. Copying everyone around you is a choice. Spending 12 years waiting for a feeling of certainty is a very slow choice, but still a choice. Existentialism therefore offers freedom with anxiety attached. You are building the object while also deciding whether it is a chair, a ladder, or a small wooden apology. But pure meaning-making has a problem. Can absolutely anything become meaningful just because someone chooses it? Imagine a man who devotes his life to counting every ceiling tile he encounters. He loves the work. He has notebooks. He has developed regional opinions. At his funeral, someone quietly announces the final number. Was his life meaningful simply because he cared deeply? A strict subjectivist might say yes. Meaning depends on the person's own commitments. If the project genuinely organizes his life, engages him, and gives him reasons to continue, it is meaningful for him. This view respects individuality. One person finds meaning in raising children, another in mathematics, another in repairing old motorcycles. There need not be one correct arrangement for every box. Yet the ceiling tile case feels suspicious. So does a life passionately devoted to cruelty, domination, or constructing the world's most complete archive of other people's parking mistakes. This pushes us toward objectivism. The objectivist says some activities are genuinely more worthwhile than others, whether or not we happen to enjoy them. Seeking truth, creating beauty, helping others, and forming loving relationships seem like better candidates for meaning than counting tiles or making strangers mildly afraid of the homeowners association. But pure objectivism also has a problem. Suppose you spend your life doing objectively valuable work that you hate. You preserve important historical records, but every morning you feel your soul quietly leaving through an air vent. Your work matters, yet it feels alien to you. Is that a meaningful life? Perhaps partly, but something seems missing. The philosopher Susan Wolf offers a hybrid answer. Meaning appears when a person is actively engaged in something they care about, and that thing is also worthy of care. The inner attraction and the outer value meet. This explains why meaningful lives usually involve both love and substance. You must care about the project, relationship, craft, or cause, but your caring does not magically make its object worthwhile. Passion is an engine, not a steering wheel. On this account, meaning often appears in projects. A project is not necessarily a grand mission involving a mountain and a dramatic coat. It can be raising a child, studying a disease, maintaining a community garden, writing music, teaching someone to read, or keeping a small business honest. Projects give life direction. They connect today's effort with tomorrow's possibility. The individual action may be unimpressive. One email, one rehearsal, one tomato plant being examined with unreasonable concern. But the actions form a pattern. Relationships work differently. A friendship does not always need an external achievement. You do not have to produce a quarterly friendship report. The relationship itself can matter because another person matters. This is important because meaning is often confused with personal greatness. People imagine that a meaningful life must leave a large mark on history. There should be a statue, or at least a documentary narrated by someone with a very calm voice. But historical scale is not the same as value. Comforting one frightened person may never affect the movement of galaxies. It still affects the frightened person. The universe is extremely large, but size is a strange test for importance. A galaxy is larger than your grandmother. This does not make the galaxy better at remembering your birthday. Cosmic insignificance also cuts both ways. If your kindness is tiny compared with the universe, so is your embarrassment from something you said in 2014. We rarely accept this second conclusion. Apparently, the cosmos is large enough to erase our achievements, but not that awkward handshake. Albert Camus approached the problem through the absurd. Human beings hunger for clarity, order, and final answers, while the world does not reliably provide them. The absurd is this confrontation between our demand for meaning and the silence we receive. Camus did not think the answer was to surrender. His image was Sisyphus, condemned to push a boulder uphill forever, only to watch it roll back down. The task has no final success. It is the worst project manager's meeting ever devised. Yet Camus argues for living without pretending the silence has spoken. We can recognize the absurd and still choose experience, freedom, solidarity, and revolt. The absence of a final cosmic answer does not force us to stop living. It forces us to live without a receipt guaranteeing that everything will add up. This reveals another confusion. A meaningful life is not necessarily a happy life. Caring for a sick parent may be exhausting and painful, yet deeply meaningful. Writing a novel may involve months of doubt and one paragraph that has somehow become worse every time you improve it. A pleasant afternoon can be happy without being especially meaningful. Eating a pastry in a quiet room is good, but it may not answer the universe. Meaning is also not identical to morality. A morally decent life may feel empty if it lacks engagement, connection, and direction, and some meaningful achievements can be morally mixed. Meaning, happiness, and goodness overlap, but none is a substitute for the others. So what is the meaning of life? If we mean a cosmic explanation, we face religious and metaphysical disagreement. If we mean a universal human purpose, there may be several candidates rather than one. If we mean what makes an individual life meaningful, relationships, worthwhile projects, understanding, creativity, and contribution are strong answers. If we mean how life feels coherent from the inside, then the story we use to connect our experiences also matters. The question may not have one missing answer because it contains several missing parts. Perhaps life is less like a single object with one official function and more like a box of materials. Some may believe the box was sent for a reason. Others think it simply arrived. Either way, we still have to build while we are inside it. We may never discover whether the whole construction has a cosmic purpose, but we can ask smaller, answerable questions. What is worth caring about? Who depends on me? Which projects deserve my limited time? What kind of life can I honestly stand behind? The meaning of life may not be a sentence hidden in the packaging. It may be the structure formed by what we love, what we serve, what we understand, and what we continue building together, despite the one leftover screw.